Hey everybody, Steven here, and today I'm doing an unboxing and test video for the ROCCAT KAIN 200 wireless mouse. So I've actually been eyeballing the ROCCAT brand for a while now. It's just they are a little bit more expensive. Not that the stuff I buy right now isn't expensive, it's just I've kind of had it on the back burner. But when this actually popped up during a Black Friday sale, I couldn't resist. This is normally $100. I got it on sale for $60. That's a good discount, right? 40% off with this. And for those that know Dr. DisRespect, obviously this is the brand that he actually uses with his system, with his rig. So that was a kind of another incentive to do it. I wanted to kind of see what the hype on his end was about with this brand. And we're going to get this thing unboxed. I'm going to test it out and then we'll see just kind of my general opinion. I am going to spend about a day with this before I come back. So we'll get it unboxed and then I want to toy around with it for a second. But this is an ambidextrous mouse, if I could say that word. With this, it has 50 hours of battery life, 16,000 DPI, owl eye sensor, 50 million click life cycle, 1 millisecond report rate, 16.8 million colors for the RGB lighting. With this, they're saying it can last up to 4 weeks of playtime. I'm wondering what they're saying. I mean, you just divide that, I guess, the 28 days by the 50 hours there. And it even has his picture, Dr. DisRespect's picture on the back here. Of course, in his full gear there, we got the mustache, the glasses. I'm coming after him, though, because I haven't mentioned this on the channel. I'm actually growing out a mullet. I know that sounds dumb, but I want to do it at least once, get some pictures, so I'll probably have to do some videos with it just to show everybody. So I'll have the real deal. I'm not going to wear a wig like Dr. DisRespect does.
You gotta be kidding me!
Because if you've seen his picture, I mean, that dude usually has really short hair. But let's get this thing open. I do like their package. Clean, very slick looking, just the backing for it. All right, this is it. That is it. Man, that looks clean right there. I like that look. All right. So like I mentioned, this is saying it's ambidextrous. This does not look ambidextrous though. Hand orientation, right/ambidextrous. I don't think people would want to use this with the left hand. That might feel a little bit odd. This does come in white as well. So if you had a white rig, you could do that. That would go good with my ITX build. But with this, it actually has the DPI button right in the center. Illuminated, says DPI on it, where a lot of the other ones don't. On the right-hand side here, we're going to have our two other buttons. That sounds really good. And then we're looking at the skis on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is that? What does that say? Oh, that's the pairing button. So 1, 2, 3, and then it looks like we have one around the sensor right here. And then I guess this is another one, or is that just to protect the button? I don't think there's a ski on it. That one's going to be a little bit harder to get off. Yeah, that's just the pairing button. And then we have an on-off switch right here. Here we will have the USB dongle, very small, low profile. I like when they do this. This looks like the Logitech one. And then if you need this as an extension here, this charging cable goes to a micro USB port, which would slide on the front of this, I'm assuming. Yep, if you needed to plug this in. And it'll slide, hopefully, right in there. I'm doing that right. Wait a second. There we go. Had it backwards. So that'll slide in there, just like that. So that'll look smooth, clean. Doesn't look like I have some of them where you attach it to the front. It just throws off the look of it if you do decide to kind of keep it plugged in while you're playing and charging it up. So there isn't, what? I thought there wasn't a manual for a second. So we have our manual right here. I don't think it's going to tell me anything crazy with this. You do have to download the software. I'm going to do that. Let's talk about the specs really quick. So Default DPI settings, the ones that'll come as your kind of presets: 400, 800, 800's on by default, 1200, 1600, 3200, but you can do that up to obviously that 16,000. I usually stick 32 to maybe like 38, even 4200 for DPI settings. 2.4 gigahertz frequency. It has a 1000 milliamp battery, 1000 hertz polling rate, distance control unit, 40 gram acceleration, ARM Cortex MO 48 megahertz, 512 kilobytes of onboard memory, so you can do your profiles. Angle snapping, adjustable on off, 1 millisecond response time, light at 105 grams. Let's see. I know this is going to be a little bit heavier. Feel wise, very comparable to my Logitech G703. This is a little bit more narrow as it comes towards the top, but it is definitely lighter, and you can't change that. So you're going to have to like that 105 grams with this. Operational temperature 0 to 40 degrees Celsius, and I think that is it with this. Yeah, then it's just going to go into other languages. So I'm going to get this thing set up. Like I said, I'm going to spend probably the next day with this, kind of get a feel. I will show myself playing games with this, talk about just the general feel. I will do another sound test as well, so you guys can hear that. On the side here, I do want to mention this. This is Titan Click and Titan Wheel. Really cool image of that on the side here. And then just to highlight those settings again for everybody. So yeah, let's get this thing set up, and then I will talk about my general first impression over the course of a day, and like I said, showcase some footage of me playing games. So let's cut ahead. Alright, so I got to play with this mouse for the last day here, and I gotta say right off the bat, it's made a great first impression. It feels really, really good in the hands. It performs really good as well. I haven't had any issues with lag or anything like that. I do like the weight. That 105 grams feels really, really good. It's not as heavy as the G703 from Logitech, but it is a good middle weight in my opinion. It also has a good height to it, so it's not a very low profile mouse, so it actually fills out the hand really well. So what we're going to do first though, before we kind of get into the software and everything like that though, is let's go ahead and get into the sound test so you guys can actually hear what this sounds like. Alright, so hopefully that gives you an idea of what this sounds like in person. And I do like the feel and the sound of all of the buttons on this. If you notice, when you press the DPI button, you can actually have it so that over your speakers or your headset, it will tell you what you're changing to. You can turn that off, you don't have to leave that on. But I do like that feature as well. Everything just feels good. I like the Titan scroll wheel and the Titan click. It does feel like it takes a little bit more force compared to other mice that I've used in the past. But I like the general feel, and whatever the finish is on this plastic feels really good. I thought it was similar to my 703, my Logitech G703 here, but then I put them side by side and then I just kind of went back and forth and I was like, no, this has a different finish. It feels, I don't know, different in the hands. It feels really, really good. So whatever they've done, kudos to ROCCAT for the finish on this. Now, setup was really, really easy. Plugged in the USB dongle, downloaded the ROCCAT Swarm here, the software, and then I had to plug in the micro USB cable to actually update. That took a second, and then I was good to go. I do want to mention that you actually get this little dock here, so you could plug in your receiver here. You could plug in the micro USB port cable here, and then you could run that to your PC. So maybe your computer's at an angle or maybe under the desk and it's not getting a really good signal. You would actually run it this way. That way it had a better connection to the mouse here. I do like that touch. That's a very nice touch there. Now, once you actually have the software, let's cover this really quick. Even though it's not going to be really quick, it's going to take a second because there's a lot to cover with this. This is everything that I have pinned. You could close these out if you wanted to, right? But this is what I have pinned here. After that, you have settings. With settings, vertical scroll speed, horizontal tilt speed in tilt mode, double click speed, window pointer speed, DPI switcher, so changing the DPI settings here. You could calibrate that as well. Button assignment, so you can change the buttons if you wanted to. Illumination, and then I want to pronounce this AMO, but I'm assuming just because for like ROCCAT, to me that I almost wanted to call this brand initially ROCCAT, so I'm assuming this is AMO. But with this, it's intelligent lighting. It doesn't say it's actually for this mouse. When I click on this, it kind of seems like it builds a color profile based off of things that you do, games that you play, to kind of match that. It almost seems initially like it has screen sampling, which is what you find with the Logitech products, like my keyboard here and my speakers, but it doesn't seem, it actually has to read and gather information. Mine says 15% and it hasn't moved beyond that, so I don't know if that's actually doing anything. But if you click here, you can tell it themes that you want to do, moving mouse, adjusting volume, all these things that would show up. So I haven't messed with it much. If I try to activate it, it says it's activated, but only 50% intelligence has been gathered. So I don't know if it really works with this. When you go to the website, it lists these other products of theirs that really are more compatible with it, but it's there. But lighting, wave, fully lit, heartbeat, breathing, blinking, battery indication. I do like battery indication. Down on the bottom, you would apply this. Now, going to advanced settings after that, this is where you're going to see some really cool stuff. Battery status, a lot of software is going to have that, right? Show status in the icon tray. I do like that, so that's actually over here, so I can see that if I want to. You could also have a pop-up notification, and then it would double down and I would actually do it with the color here. So nice feature. And then signal strength. I haven't seen that with some of the other wireless mice that I've used, and so this is how you could gauge whether or not you need to move this and potentially do this dock variation right here where the USB dongle is actually plugged in. So I like that. I haven't seen that with the other mice. Like I said, automatic standby, you can turn this on, turn off illumination, turn off sensor, turn off all secondary buttons. You can tell it how long you want it to actually wait until it does that. Energy saving mode, which mine is turned on, so it'll reduce illumination level once it actually begins to drop below 40% battery. I could change that. And then we have more of our basic stuff. Polling rate, angle snapping, sound feedback. Now this is where I turned on the DPI change. You could also do it where you could change it for the profile switch, volume up and down, and then setting the volume for this. 0 debounce, distance control unit, and then reset all settings. So there's a lot going on with the software. I've seen some of this stuff with other software. It does seem like it's like that next tier up where there's just a little bit more that I could tweak with these products. Down at the bottom here, we have different profiles. You have 5 different onboard profiles that you could create. Then we have our profile manager here, and then we have the macros if you're going to mess with macros. I personally never do, but you can create macros with this as well. So that's going to be the software. Gaming has been smooth. Really, really good. Playing Doom, no issues, incredibly responsive. It just, once again, feels great in the hands. I love the click when I'm actually just using the mouse. And it's one of those where I didn't notice signal drop. I didn't notice the cursor trailing off. Anything like that. There was like 0 problems with this. And with this company, that was kind of my expectation. To me, this is going to be a company that's going to be up there with Logitech, Razer, Corsair. So no issues, and it just, like I said, plays really good, and I like the skates on it. This moves smooth on my mouse pad. So that was the other thing, is didn't have any catches in it or anything like that. And anytime I did a little bit of lift off, it didn't actually trail the mouse either, which was nice. Which obviously I try not to do a ton of lift off, but I do have some every now and then. So games worked good. Hopped into Horizon Zero Dawn, no problems there as well. I'm going to keep coming back saying it just feels really, really good in the hands. I just like the feel of it. So comparable to my Logitech G703, which has been the mouse I've been using now for 5 years. I may switch slowly over to ROCCAT just to try everything else out. And I've been a huge Logitech fan, but yeah, this mouse is top notch. I'm very, very impressed. So to finish all of this out, is this worth the $100? Would I pay $100 for this? Because that's the normal price point here. And I think $100 would be a little bit harder to ask, because when we're looking at the G703, it was $100. But a lot of times you're going to find that on sale for $60, $70. I would like to see this consistently in that $60, $70 price range. If it's on sale, snag it. No questions asked. Grab the mouse. If it's $100, that's going to be a little bit harder. That's going to kind of boil down to if you're on a budget or not. If money's not an issue, I'd say go for it. If it is, and you're like, I'm trying to save up for some other things, or just a little bit too much, then yeah, you may look towards the Logitech G703. As far as I know, and I looked through some of their other products, they don't have any power play options, which power play with Logitech is the wireless charging pad here. So I'm eventually going to have to plug this thing in, where the Logitech, I never have to. Now, this thing is $100. So you're now at $160 to $170 for those two. But the cool news with this is, like I said, I never plug it in. I actually just use the mouse on here. I never have to worry about recharging it. It's always recharging. You look at some of the other Corsair ones where you'll actually have the wireless charger in the corner. Didn't find that, although I haven't really dug through their website a ton. The other thing is Razer has another version of this as well. Or if you look at the Viper Ultimate, where it has the charging dock, which is another mouse that I've reviewed on the channel. I have that downstairs on my second rig. So some options, but 50 hours of battery life. I mean, that thing's going to last a good while. So it's not going to be that big of an issue. So I would recommend this mouse easily at the $60 price range. No questions asked. $100, it's going to boil down to your budget. But I haven't had anything that has happened with this, and I've only had it now for the day and a half, that said, hey, people need to know about this. This is whatever it is. I just think it's a great mouse. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. Down the road, I'd like to do an actual review for this one. Kind of condense everything, shorten it up a little bit. But if there's something that I didn't actually answer in this video, let me know in the comment section and I will address it in the review. So that's going to be it for this one, everybody. If you like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all my content, hit the subscribe button for me. Thanks so much for watching.